I like to preface this next piece as saying it's not necessarily for everybody. But for those that don't want to buy a refrigerator and want to get into a dispensing situation with a keg, it's probably the lowest impact financially. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what we have and dissect it piece by piece. Of course, you're going to recognize this CO2 source as a bulk source, but you can use a cartridge source or a paintball tank. Here's your tried and true keg. Here's your boil pot. This is filled with water to act as a thermal battery, and a bungee cord to keep your keg anchored as it becomes less and less full. So our goal is to dispense without using a refrigerator. This will only work if you're in a cold climate. For example, if you're in Florida and you never see dips in temperature, this isn't going to work for you. So your first thing to do is find the coldest place in your apartment. For a lot of people, it's a mudroom. For me, it's my bathroom personally, maybe even a veranda. And you'll take a glass of water and you'll fill it up, let it sit there for a day, and take the temperature. We're going to try to find what our middle temperature is. We use the water because the water kind of levels out the swings between high and low. So once we find out the temperature, we're going to go ahead and move forward and figure out how we can carbonate our beer to accommodate for that. So first thing is temperature. You want to bring up a carbonation chart, and that can show you a whole line of volumes and what PSI correspond to those volumes. So for me, the coldest place in my room, like I said, was the bathroom. For video demonstration purposes, I brought the whole operation out here, but we're dealing with 15 Celsius or 60 degree F. So I know that. I can eliminate that one variable on the carbonation chart. So if I look on the line 60F, I see a bunch of numbers corresponding to PSI and volumes. And I know I like my beer typically in the 2 to 2.2 volumes. So if I scroll all the way over to the right, at those volumes I see 20 to 22 PSI. So I set my regulator to such. So that's the second variable. Now the third variable is line length. We have to match the resistance here to the PSI that's given us through the regulator. And if we just roughly figure on 2 PSI per foot of 3/16 line, we can make that balance. So what I'm going to do here is I'm basically pouring a 60 degree F or 15C beer into my glass here. And while that's not spectacular, I'll show you the provisions we can make to get around that. Not everybody wants to drink a beer at 60F or 15C, which is why we're going to do what we do next. Filling into a chilled glass can gain you a few extra degrees. So what normally was what most would consider an undrinkable 15C or 60F